Okay, let's see what happened here. I guess time to speak English. Um, I just finished the live on the other channel, so I'm still in that mood. Um, hopefully, no mistakes in Serbian. Okay, for the people that do not do not know me, um, my name is Dragana, and I am located in Florida. I usually go by Anna. It's much easier. Um, I really want to thank you for anyone who's watching now, for people who's going to be watching any length of time in the future. Thank you, everyone. I hope I'm taking your time and energy. Gaga, bravo, Gago. um, for a good purpose, that I really have something to say. So I do have two channels. This is my channel. The other channel, I am a guest on the other channel. So that means it's in my native language. People who are familiar, they follow there. So if you want to follow in the native language, please go on my main page, either within my playlist. When you click, you're going to see the same thing only in the native language. Or if you go on the main page, I did put up finally the playlist of all the recordings. So everything's gonna stay at any time. Those recordings, live recordings, let's say. Subscribe and like, share with the people. I think we live in the time that we really have to learn to share. Somebody told me this works better. I don't know why. I just remember I forgot to put this. So what am I doing? I do have huge life experience that I'm grateful for. I have material over to write at least 4 books. I consider we do not have time anymore. Nobody is reading books. By the time I write them, it's going to be like too late. So this is just a form of me to whatever I would say in my books. I'm using that to say right now. Where to ask? You can definitely comment on the chat, or you can make a comment in the comments. The only thing is, if you really want to ask something or something is not clear, you want me to explain, or to just talk about something that you would like me to talk or we discuss, just come and join live, please. I know I have only 50 people, but in the future, you can write on my email. Everything is in the description. There is a description below. There is an arrow. When you click it, you're going to see my Facebook platform and Instagram, and you can definitely click there and ask the question or remark or whatever you have. So I'm just sharing my view. I'm not, directing somebody to do something, or, I'm just sharing. This is only my discussion. This is only my point of view. Maybe somebody has the same, but as I say, I want to refrain from, being responsible. I'm just sharing my life experience, my lessons, my point of view here. I'm not giving any suggestions to anybody what they should do or not. Meanwhile, beside the live, I am doing astrology, Reiki, and quantum healing. So anybody interested in those sessions, please, you can definitely make a contact. Astrology and Reiki can be done remotely. Quantum healing has to be done in person, because the school I went to and that strain of Dolores Cannon practice only in person. So, and at the end, I want to say any money ever made or donations that you give is going to go to Mariana Maki. That is the girl I did volunteer in 2011 in a foster home in Serbia on my visit over 2 years. So it was a program of mentorship, like a big brother, big sister. And that's how I met Maki. After maybe a year or 2 after that, I decided that I want to support her financially. So I am doing that. That's the present ongoing thing as long as I'm here. At the same time, any money from the platforms, I'm going to start YouTube, Instagram, I believe, pretty soon at the same time. So that's going to go all to her. Everything else, it's just what I do. Okay, since I'm kind of little bit delayed on this channel mine, I wanted for the perfect moment to record this. I had a lot of problem I still have with the recordings. They would cut off and it wouldn't just look good. It was important for me to start the other channel with my friend. You can find the description in the playlist. I did cover there. I already talked there. I started with the energy. Um, so the subject for today that I'm going to be talking about and how I try to live my life, how I perceive it, and how I think it's very important for the time that we live in right now is energy. My little notes here. Anything that's not something that I like discovered and like that's like totally new and now I'm the inventor of it. From the times, um, we know that the main principle of energy, it cannot be destroyed. Energy, it's like totally like a live thing that can only transform and change form, and that's okay, and that's a natural process what energy does. It can never be destroyed. It can only transform into something else, and that's the normal process. Kind of that's the evolution of it. Depending in what stages and what time it's present at. So that's very important to understand for us, particularly when we become alive, guess, in the belly of our mothers. Even before that, there is a concept of energy that we just kind of ask and we borrow the soul that we have. We have a soul within. So that's a life thing. It's not like nothing is dead. Energy cannot be ever be dead. It's always alive and only transforms and transforms. So same with us. We are here and we are energy, and that's all what we are. I tend to live my life on that principle. It's not easy. You have to be conscious of it more and more. I have a very cute squirrel again. Now she's on this side. She thinks I'm gonna give her some food, which I don't have. Um, everything, everything, even this table, the subtle material, the planet Earth where we live, it's a very material planet. Density, the dimensions compared to the densities, this is a very strong density. So the energy to come in the strong density like this, it becomes in this material form. So there is a spirit and there is a matter. For us to feel our body, I can touch my body, I can feel it, it's material. This table, that's all matter, that's all material. So there is a concept that we can definitely touch, we can feel material. Is it really there? Kind of, it's not. There are atoms inside, they're like molecules, and it's always alive, and it can be dissolved. If you take all of this little upper above the earth, kind of in the sense, just to explain it, it all dissolves. It does not stay in this form because of the same energy of the same principle of spirit matter. So let's just stick to that. I'm not going to go in much deeper, especially not in the first introduction with energy. So if we are energy, as I perceive and tend to live my life, everything is energy. Everything around me is a concept of energy. So that means one thing only, that everything is on the certain vibration at the moment, the present moment. It doesn't have past and future at the moment. It's vibrating in the certain frequency all of the time. You are sad or you are very happy. I'm taking extremes of duality just to explain it. So you cannot be extremely sad and extremely happy at the same time. It would be some kind of like sanity or mission impossible. So every time as a concept of energy is accepted that you want to try to live in the conscious moment that we are energy, we are vibrating on the certain frequency that determines who we are at the moment. Our thoughts, our emotions, everything, how we live our life, what we eat, how we behave, everything is determined based upon that. So that is important because I think in the time today, we don't have much of that concept. We don't live by that principle. I want to say law. I want to stick energy as a principle because things maybe would be just different. I'm going to refrain. I do not live, I tend as much as I can not to live in the concept of duality. But when I have to explain here, because that's all I'm doing, how I see it, I have to use it. So I'm just using it. That doesn't mean I live abide it. So how does it work actually? So if I am energy, then in the certain time frame, which is divided, as I say, by those natural, I didn't cover principles, that's probably in the next one. We have within those 24 hours certain amount of energy. Depends if we are younger or older. However, we have like 100% of energy for the day. In the daytime, we have the most. Some people's gonna realize they're gonna have more energy in the nighttime, but that's not like really. I'm not gonna talk exceptions here. Of course, some people feel more energy in the nighttime, but I'm not going to talk about exceptions here. I'm just talking about the average person. In the daytime. We have a lot of energy, like certain amount, if that can be measured. What do we do with that energy? It's up to us. We can recharge it. We can sleep all day long. We can rest. We can run. Or when it comes to the mental part, we can apply it somewhere. If I continue reading all day long or watching TV all day long, that means I am applying, actually giving my energy to that certain thing. That is important because then you can decide at one moment. Nothing can be controlled. I don't want to say you can control because that's the wrong word. But at the moment, you can definitely decide where you're going to give your energy. And that's the decision made in the moment. So I can say, something happens, let's say in my life, and I can stay home crying all day long, or I can just get over it and say, oh, listen, it happens, you know how to deal with that, let's move on and just continue the rest of my day in like whatever manner I decide. In order for us to decide how we're gonna apply our energy, a lot of things, I can say, like a lot of ducks has to be in a row for us to decide at the moment that I can be kind of on top of all of that and say, oh, this is my decision now. Like you having a bad day, what you're going to do with it, or you having a good day, or just, bad, good, still in the concept of duality. Or something bad happens, like this live cut off now, or I have to stop it, then it didn't go my way how I wanted it, so I can be upset over it, or I can say, oh, listen, just go and record another one. So that means applying of energy. Applying of energy you can only do if you are first of all, if you are aware of energy, how it functions. Second of, how should I say, of all of it, definitely if you start practicing in your daily life, the you are energy and everything around, everything, Mother Earth, planet Earth is energy too. It has its own cycle, it has its own heartbeat. People who do drumming and all other stuff, they know that the mother has a heart, and it has its own beat, its own frequency, its own energy center. So everything is alive. That's the concept of energy. When we die, energy is still there. We are not present in this density, on this frequency on Earth, but energy continues on and on and on. We said energy can never die. It only transforms. It can never be destroyed. It can only change form. So if we apply our energy to something that's, let's say, bad, in the manner I'm going to say bad versus good, then we are supporting that. If in order to decide, as I said in the beginning, We have to live by that principle. We have to be, first of all, we have to be aware. We have to live by that principle. We have to practice that principle. And there are certain programs that I'm going to cover much later, not today, either from the society or from childhood or karmic or in DNA. There are certain programs that we come with. So we don't come just clean cut. Otherwise, this wouldn't be the way it is. We do not come. There are certain frequencies that they come clean cut. Those are called agents or angels, all helpers on the earth. Those are positive charges that our guides, that they overlook our process on earth and how are we doing here. But I'm not going to go into that. I'm just trying to say the most likely, most of us, we come with a certain program, either from DNA or from karma, or however you want to understand the concept inherited. Doesn't matter how you're going to perceive and how you're going to put it for yourself, as long as you get the grip of that there are certain programs. You are born in the certain societies, and it's just like in the certain religion, in the certain culture, and there are some concept, you are never to get married, or you are to get married young, or you should do this or you shouldn't do this. Your religion doesn't support that. So those are the same things called programs and concepts that we need to live by. At certain times they are only there. It's called karma. You can go through the karmic explanation, only for us to realize that we had them enough and that we need to release them, to let them go. Otherwise we keep repeating them until we learn what really is, what's not. Everything comes coded on the earth. There is no single thing that does not come from the seed and coded, except our energy part of us comes through different source, but we out of the seed. We were born out of the seed in the womb of the mother, and the seed from the father. So everything on the earth, most likely it's coded one way or another. The blooming season, everything starts blooming in the spring, so that's coded. It has a certain time and a code when it's going to start blooming. So that kind, let's say orchid, to make a sample, orchid, it blooms around the world at the same time because it's coded. It has a code in it. Rose, anything you want to compare, just to make the difference. So those are certain principles that I'm going to talk much later. For now, I'm going to just finish explaining the energy concept. Once we realize all of that, once we are kind of conscious, when we start living on that principle more and more, then we can decide, once we work on our programs that we have to work, then we can decide at the moment if we're gonna do on the spot, feed with our energy this or that or whatever. The most easy one to compare, it's like, actually, let's go back on the conscious part. We have to, in the beginning, how I perceived consciousness and then subconscious, known and unknown. In my work, all through the years, my experience, the teachings, the lecture, literature, experience with the people, practice, I came to, for me, those two are the same. There is no concept for me anymore, but I'm going to talk, as I say now, certain concept that just to make it clear and understood what I'm saying about. For me, conscious and subconscious is the same thing. If somebody did something out of the conscious level, oh, I stepped on you, whatever, consciously or unconsciously, does not make the difference in the outcome. Otherwise, I can go do whatever. I mean, I'm saying English in Serbian. It's a little easier for me to say. I can go and do some wrong deeds and say, oops, I didn't know. It's from my subconscious. It wasn't me. So then we can blame a lot. And you see that in court a lot. People a person was not sane. They were not responsible for their actions. You see, if you're not sane, If the mental part does not work properly for you, you're not responsible for your actions. So in my how I tend to live my life, I don't divide conscious and subconscious anymore. For me, that's exactly the same thing. But in order to get there and to explain its collective conscience, all of us, all our conscience, and collective unconscious. So we all together, including everything that's live on Earth, including Earth. There is a conscious concept that we are living, and there is unconscious concept that we are living. So all together makes a collective conscious and subconscious. So you have to be in touch with those two, because we all make that one collective. We are together. We are all connected. I don't separate. Because in God we are one. We are only one. We are all the same in God. There is no separation. A concept of duality, I tend really to show like left and right, light and dark. The duality concept, it's only on Earth. Maybe somewhere else I'm not aware, but for this that I know, that I'm aware, very, very well aware, it's definitely on Earth only. But when you go a little bit more and above, well, actually God is within, but still in God there is no concept of left and right, good and bad. We are all one in God. There is no nationality, there is no religion, there is no color, skin color, determination. When you come to that frequency in God, there is only one frequency, and that's agape, the ultimate unconditional love. So that's the top of the energy. When we align our energy here within us on that God's love energy, we're done. We did the best, and pretty much that's our goal here, how I perceive it on the planet Earth. On the other channel, I usually have people, I have interaction. I still have to work on, people here. So they would ask maybe a question now, I would answer, or we would talk together. Since that's not the case, what else I can do on energy, since I didn't write it down all the way, just a little bit. The next one probably is going to be, I'm going to slip in frequency and vibration, which is the same thing. But with your energy, that's all you need to know. The most powerful thing for us, it's not outside of us. That's, I forgot to say. There are no outside threats to us. In the manner, there is only one, the most strong thing for us, the strongest thing for us, it's our energy. And that's our, I don't want to say power, because that's the wrong word. We should not use the power over that, neither it can be used over us. But that's the strongest thing, because that does determine everything. That does determine my day-to-day, my well-being, my relationship to the nature, to the other human, to Mother Earth. That determines everything. So that's the strongest thing for us. There is no, oh, he did this to me or he did that to me, once you realize the concept of energy, because there is no such a thing, because all is in within. So there is no external force. Nobody can ever take our energy unless we allow, unless we have a certain program. Usually we give our energy. Let's say I'm going to go Saturday volunteer in the shelter with the dogs and cats. So I'm giving my energy there. So I decide my energy for that day to go there, my time, my energy, my attention, my focus, and everything that's going to come along, my physical service, because I'm going to be physically present. So we decide. And the strongest thing, as I said, there is no external force out there like XYZ that can destroy or take our energy. We are in charge here. That's the strongest thing for us. There is no other thing. So if we did not finish certain concept of programs, either karmic or from the DNA in the genes, or any programs that we have, or maybe we'll pick up some since we came to the Earth, then that energy field is not that strong, and like, how should I say, it has a little holes, kind of, just to explain it. So somebody can get through that hole, through those holes, because we did not finish that. So somebody can say now, let's say if I did not fix whatever, I don't know what to take example. Let's say I had a complex about my English or Serbian. How do I speak English? So let's say if I did not work on that, and that's my biggest problem. I tend not to speak English because I believe I don't speak good or something, just something that I have on me. So any person, I'm feeling good, I'm doing my life. Any person can come right now and tell me, oh, look, your English is horrible, or this is, or something. And then you go down. So it gets to you. So that's the only thing that can happen with energy. When people are really sick, emotionally, mentally, physically, sometime after certain people, you're gonna feel that. You know that from your life experience. You go and you talk to certain people, you feel just good, you're recharged, you feel excellent. You go and you could talk either on the phone or you see them in person to certain people, and you are tired, like you were working all day long digging dirt somewhere, like doing whatever. It feels like, oh my God, I'm so tired and I'm so exhausted, and you have no clue. And then some people tend to realize, if they start working on their kind of correction and critical mind, critical behavior at the same time, they realize, like, oh my God, was that from that person? Like, how do they have a power? Like, every time I meet them, it's going to bring me this much down. No, they don't have a power. They are there on the certain frequency and vibration, and you align at that moment. Somehow your vibration drops and aligns there, so you're on the same. So you're not here anymore. You come unaware, subconsciously down, and then it tends to repeat until you say, okay, from out of 10 times, seeing that nothing against that person